This is a 79 series bonnet. I bet you can guess what's happening in this episode. Oh my God! Oh, yeah. That was crazy. Righto, so the 79 series bonnet was the obvious choice when it came to putting some sort of scoop or something on that bonnet. The front is so wide and aggressive looking. The new 2020 shape bonnet, I think these came out from like 2017 on the 79s, has a real big step up. They look fat as, it's really common conversion. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, but you know what? I'm gonna go with what I wanna do. So doing the reverse cowl has been done on the Patrol. I wanna do something different, stick to the Toyota theme, and this is how we ended up. Now, it was actually really hard to find one of these. It's like the 79s are a popular car or something. I don't know, there was just none in stock anywhere, but a big shout out to the boys at Sparesbox, or Sam from Sparesbox. He managed to track one down for me and get it shipped out. So this is where we're at. The plan at the moment is really just like, I'm gonna start with cutting from the edges here because there is a really like obvious square shape to this bonnet. Get that cut out, trim the sides off, get all the guts and underneath ripped out, throw it on the bonnet of the 80 and just see how it sits. I mean, they're fairly flat, but it scoops down quite quickly at the end, whereas these pretty much stay flat to the end. So bit of trimming, but let's just get hooking into it, start cutting up a brand new bonnet. Alrighty, progress has been made. I've done some really wide cuts and started popping some of the little glue tab things, I don't know, that hold the bottom skin on. So I'm gonna start prying it up. I bet you there's a whole ton of stuff still held on at the front, but the back should move a little bit. There we go. Oh yes! Easy. Right, there we go, done. Nah, in all seriousness, I did start this episode at night time, so I'm gonna come back in the morning and keep cracking on with this, but that's a good little start. It kind of looks like it's gonna fit all right. We'll see you tomorrow.
The next day.
Right, alrighty, so I've got the scoop or the bonnet on the other bonnet. Now, I had a bit of a play this morning, just taping up different bits and pieces of what I'm gonna change. So, on the 80 series, there's a little bit of a lip there. So that's where essentially this bend that's happening on the 75 series happens a bit further in on the 80. So I'm thinking I'm gonna cut this section out here, which will help that lip. And I don't know if you can see it, it kind of sits up a bit. So by trimming that out, it should bring these sides down to be nice and flush. And then that'll be mint. It'll be mint all the way along here until this point where I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it about here. So this ramp, this section here that starts to come down, that should follow through all the way to here to make it one nice swoop. I position the bonnet kind of forward enough where I like it. It's very similar to where the 70 series end, I think slightly further back on the original one. So I've come forward maybe another 5 mil. And that's just to help bring it forward to match up with this piece. So I'm thinking if I cut it on this top line here, that's where the dip basically hits the right angle to continue on and flow through to meet this section here. So a whole lot more cutting. Bit of trial and error, trim the back, get it sitting flat, trim the front, and then I'll just start tacking it up, welding it and getting some bog on there, metal tech filler, all sorts of stuff, and get it sitting securely, and then start molding all this front. It might have to be same sort of deal, a bit of foam, bit of fiberglass filler, all that sort of stuff. But like I said, we can just fill it with whatever bog and crap we want, because this whole guard, the whole bonnet's actually going to get fiberglass mold made, and we're going to get a complete replacement done because it's going to be way too heavy with 2 layers of steel on there. So let's get into some more cutting. Progress has been made. All right, bonnet is on. I've done some tack welds around the side to just kind of hold it on a bit. This metal tech will really give it some strength. Now that I'll let that set, I can start working out this front. I reckon I'll cut on this top line here, take this section off, and then probably might foam it. I might try and get a piece of steel in there. I could probably, steel might work. Anyway, we'll work that out as we go. Cut these corners off and start blending them in. And then it's just a bunch of bodywork, same as the guards. Heaps of sanding, grinding, bogging, all sorts of stuff. Get the shape right, and then get it off for fiberglassing. Oh, by the way, this hole here, don't need to worry about that because basically we're just getting a top skin made, so that won't be in there once the mould's made. And then we can throw the scoop in. Choking. Ugh, bog dust. You gotta love it. Anyway, so, okay, shush compressor. Thank you. Oh, my music's still playing. It was that bloody loud. Bit of Good Charlotte. Are you a 90s baby? Comment below if you're a 90s baby. Remember Good Charlotte? Yeah. Anyway, a whole lot of different colors going on because I was using some of Harley's old body filler. That's yellow stuff, but ended up getting some new stuff, some high quality green filler from the local paint shop. Anyway, so what I've basically done is I've cut a little section out of the side here and try to follow through this kind of line that comes down. I'm gonna bring that down to the edge of where I guess the corner in the grill is, so that should line up nicely there. Blend this section in to kind of match all the back. I started filling in the front with a fine filler. I'm starting to get the shape on that. I might just run a big file across that and get the shape. Let me get the camera. Oh, I don't want to touch it because it's so filthy. All right, my camera is now white. Anyway, so this is some of that metal tech filler still. Bit got trimmed out, bit of foam behind there to really bring the shape because the original bonnet kind of went a bit kind of steep here and was as wide. So I wanted to bring it down a bit sooner. So that's the real rough metal tech. Now I can put some fine filler on that. Really start shaping the front up. The sides are a bit looking pretty good. I've done a sand on that, a little bit lumpy. I'll get the flat file on that and smooth that out. So we're getting there. Once the front's done, I'll pull the whole bonnet off, sort this back piece out when it's on a table, on a bench will be much easier. But yeah, coming together. This is the general shape it's gonna be. Boy, check this out, because I'm like hell smart and like I got 2 bits of rubber that was floating around. It was like a gap filler thing for the patrol, I don't know. Anyway, cut them in half, put some tape around it, cut a piece of the longboard sandpaper, like a 120 grit, and then boom, you've got a sanding plank, whatever you call it, but it's a little bit flexible. So it can go around these curves a lot nicer and still follow the shape you want. Because that flat board that I was using was, oh, this thing, it's made out of steel and it's so rigid, no good on these curves. So this one, you at least can go around the corners. There you go, tech tip for the week. I've just realized while I'm actually doing this, I haven't really told you how to do it or what I'm doing. Normally I run you through all that. So when you're doing this sort of bogging stuff, you want to start in different levels, different stages of grit and work you out to a finer and finer finish. So when we first put it on, we had the weld, we used the metal tech filler because that attaches really well to the metal. The steel gives it some strength. Layered that in there and then I knocked that back so it's a lot lower, like a real low point so you can bog on top of it. Then you go to like, I went that pink filler, kind of medium quality stuff, get a bit more thickness into it, start getting the shape, and then we're up to this sort of fine filler stuff. And I started with using the machine that was like a 60 grit sander, so you can really knock off the tops, get it down to a reasonable level where you can start working by hand. And then you really want to finish these things by hand to get the bumps out of it. Use something flat. You can use like a block as well, wherever that is, over there. So the block sand is really good for flat panels and stuff. This with a bit of a bend in it, a bit of a curve, is really nice for these sort of sections where you got a bit of shape in there and you just slowly work it. You want to cross hatch, so you go up on a 45 in that direction, and then you come back and you go on a 45 in this direction and slowly work your way through. If you start seeing bare metal like this, that's sort of where you want to stop because you end up getting a high spot and you'll actually be able to see that separation there. Then from there, I'll work over to this side. You can't really see it anymore, but what I did do is I cleaned it back, just used a bit of this fine Scotch-Brite to knock you can still see the cut lines from the coarse grit paper. Knocked that off and I just gave it a spray with primer. Now, while it's still wet, you can stand back and really get a look on an angle. You can actually see the curves in it. So if you're not sure if it's dead flat yet, when you put your hand along it, close your eyes, you can feel the high and low spots. And if that feels good, the next stage is just throw some wet paint on there. When it's wet, you can really see the ripples in it. And then I've got the next stage. I did see some ripples in that one. Just any old black acrylic paint. And you do what's called a guide coat. Really kind of loose, just bleh, bit of black, little black spots and dots all over your paint job there, just like that. And then what you'll see will happen when you start sanding it with a flat plank or block like this, or this is the other block we were talking about, you'll actually be able to see the high and low spots. Oh, you can kind of, I'll try and get this one to come out a bit more. So just there, I don't know if you can see that, but so either side there and there, the black has disappeared. In the middle, there's still some black, which means that is a low spot. So this is the real last stage to find your high and lows. There's another low spot here. And once you've got that, you know you've got no more high and low spots. You've got a dead flat panel ready for paint, and it'll look mint under that night light.
Some get hooked the day they're born. Some fall into it as time moves on. Some are defenseless when Cupid strikes. But I've been heartless ever since I opened my eyes. I'm gonna run from love. Yeah, I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love.
Oh, dude, I look like Jesus or something, or Father Christmas. I don't know. I'm so covered in dust right now. I'm gonna have to cut my hair off. I don't think it's possible to even clean it out. Anyway, how good is she looking? It bloody looks factory, just the way that these sections come down. Like, it looks like a bonnet which is produced like this. Once we get paint on there and you see the finished product, it'll look like it was built this way. That's the whole idea. Try to follow those lines through, of course, come down. There's a bit of an edge here and the ridge meets up with the grill. Oh, let's get that thing on actually. Let's do that. Yo, can I just say, how's the fitment? Well, I've done a bloody good job there. Oh my God, she's going to look so fat. Damn. Anyway, now it's time to pull the thing off. Actually, I'll need a mate or someone to help me lift it off. It's that much heavier now with 2 layers of steel. Get it on the bench and sort that back section out, which I haven't even started sanding. Get that thing blended in. And then tomorrow, shooting down the Gold Coast and check out how you actually punch a mold out in one of these and make a complete fiberglass replacement. Alrighty, so I've made the amazing drive down from Sunny Coast to the Gold Coast. It was bloody riveting, just a bunch of traffic, but we're in a beautiful marina today. We are multi-million-dollar yachts behind me, nice little breeze. Anyway, we're here with Ross.
Hey guys, how are we?
Ross actually does a bit, this is a bit of a side thing for him, but I managed to find it. I don't even know where I found it. I think you messaged me.
I think I messaged you, yeah.
So he does all the odd bits and pieces, and what we've got in front of me, I've actually already dropped the guards off to him a few days ago, so he's been cracking on with that. So this is sort of one of the molds. There's the original guard. So I think what I'll do is I'll just get Ross to kind of run you through a little bit of the process of the guard, and then I've obviously come down today because we've bought the bonnet and we're going to see about what the process is of doing the mold with that. Slightly different, because this is what, a two piece, and then
that's
you go
a
to
3-piece mold,
yeah.
Just because of the way it's made and how many features you want in it.
Yeah. So what's sort of the process? You got my shitty guard that was really rushed and put together.
Yeah, so basically he's given me a guard that he's made that's the right shape out of all sorts of different chemicals.
Yep.
So that's completely fine. We've pulled a mold off that, and then off that I can put a part in that and then give him something back that he can work with a lot better. It's a slow process, but it's the right way to do it. So you just need to figure out what you want and get the right shape.
And initially I kind of wasn't going to do it. I was trying to minimize the amount of bog and use glass filler and that, but honestly, this is the way to go. It gets rid of all that bog, all that filler, all that foam. The thing became really heavy. So now having bonnet, guards, everything fiberglass, it'll just get rid of all that crap inside. There's one in here that's half done. Should we have a look at that?
Yeah.
Bit of the process.
Well, basically, you're going to end up with a guard that weighs about as much as that, probably a little bit less.
Yep.
So that compared to that, it's about a quarter of the weight.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's going to be a lot better. In the long run, you'll love it.
And I guess the molds are there now, so if I do damage them in the bush, it's
If
not
you write it off,
disappeared.
you're not a problem. So basically,
Look at that. This is just horrible.
yeah, don't look at that. No, that's basically it. So we've got the big main mold on the back that's already done. Now we're going through and doing the two-piece parts to lock the mold together that I'm making removable. So when you pull them apart, you just undo those and you peel it out.
Yep. Should we have a look at this bonnet?
Let's do it.
Check it out.
Let's have a look.
Alrighty, so this is what I'm working on the last few days. The 80 series, 200 front end, 79 top bonnet, bit of everything.
Here we go.
So I didn't cut the hole because I'm assuming we're gonna just...
Are you going to use the insert there?
Yeah,
You've got the insert?
not yet, it's just from Toyota. Toyota stitch you up, they're like, oh yeah, take a bonnet. And I'm like, where's the middle bit? And they're like, oh, that'll be another 500, thanks. I'm like, well, that's part of the bonnet, bruh.
I love that.
Anyway, so we're gonna do, you say like a one piece on this, so you're essentially only
it'll
taking
be a
the
single
top.
piece skin. If you want to do the bottom side, we can try and do the bottom side as well, but
No,
that'll be
I
another
reckon
piece.
just, see I actually prefer that because the end underneath it creates it nice and clean. The hole will just be a hole.
Yep.
I've got crappy welds under these corners and that,
Yep.
it will clean all that up.
Yep.
But one thing I was asking about is just with hinges and stuff, how
Yep.
do we go about putting
Okay,
blocks in
so
there?
what I normally do is I normally get 20 by 20 box steel.
Yep.
I'll take positions of where the hinge plates are now on this bonnet
Yep.
because I know that they're correct, and then I'll glass in some 10mm aluminium plate
Yeah.
into the bonnet, into the fiberglass bonnet. That
Yep.
way you can bolt that to the car. You'll just have to sort out a latch of some sort.
I think the plan was, I was chatting to a couple of guys, and if we can get the hinges sorted,
Yep.
I'm thinking just full racer spec like bonnet pins
Oh, yeah.
on the front.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know, just like thunk,
That's what you want.
bit of everything on here. Anyway, let's rip it off and have a look see.
Easy.
So I've been having a look at different bits and pieces. Now this is a bonnet that, well, a bonnet
That's a
piece,
bonnet skin, yeah.
essentially what it'll end up being like. This is actually a mold still, and it's a series, it's a patrol.
That's a GU4 mold, which is the same as what your patrol
Yeah,
is.
so it's actually a patrol bonnet with the 79, the new one, so 2021 I can tell. New scoop, so
That's the first one. That's
Yeah.
the first one I'm about to pull out to give to a customer. So
yeah, sweet. So
it's-
now you can punch more out of this now,
yes,
can't you? Yeah.
yes. So
There you go, if you want a bonnet, hit him up. Actually, I don't know what your page is, it's on Facebook, right?
custom fiber parts.
Custom fibre parts, yeah.
Honestly, I advertised like 2.5 years ago, and I haven't had to need to since.
Yeah.
And I've been busy.
Bit of word of
2.5
mouth.
years.
All right, so Ross has got a bonnet to do just before mine. Now it's essentially the same thing. I mean, the process is the same. This is that GU bonnet with the 79 scoop. So I'll film a bit of this and just pretend it's my bonnet because it's exactly the same process once that plug and that mold's been made. But my camera is about to go flat and I'm an idiot. I've got to bring batteries. So halfway through, you might see this thing switch to iPhone mode. But other than that, we'll see the end result. Alrighty, we're back in the workshop while the bonnet is getting sorted and that mold made. I just had a delivery from EC Off-Road and it's technology. Who doesn't love technology? Hang on, I'll bring the camera closer so you can see. So what we've got here is basically like the head unit, the control system that's gonna finish off the dash in this 80 series. So, looks like a normal double din head unit, but look at the bloody screen on it. This thing is touchscreen, it's got your Apple CarPlay, it's got maps, it's got everything like this, these bloody 4G internet receivers, you can take calls, you can, even steering wheel control. So that 200 steering wheel, it can do Bluetooth bloody controls, everything, super high tech. Reverse camera as well, which I'm not gonna use. So I'm just kind of having a little rough look through of the wiring. It looks like a loom's been supplied and this will literally plug straight into the 80 series loom, which is sick, which means, let's get into it. Let's get in the car, let's just plug it in, see if something turns on. I'm gonna run all these antennas and stuff that I need to get the thing going, but I just wanna get it in the car. Let's go. Alrighty, I have no idea if this is going to work. Just try the key. Oh, lights are on. Oh my God, that easy. This thing is flash. All right, I want to do something. Okay, I need to hook this thing up to the internet. Let me hook it up to my phone, the internet, and then we'll see what's going on. All right, here we go. It took me all of 5 minutes to work this out, but while I had me lunch, we got a bit of built not bought. It helps if you plug the speaker in too to get sound. My God, it's been a long time since I've done anything like that. Anyway, in today's episode, we're doing pretty much a bit of everything. It's like screen install. Oh man, this thing is so good. I think that's pretty good. Anyway, that's enough build not bought YouTube. Another cool thing, weather. And it knew the time straight away from being linked through Wi-Fi to my phone. Bloody awesome. All right, now I gotta work out how to get steering wheel controls to work. Probably just have to wire that up. Get the new horn button from Toyota to put in, and that is interior or dash pretty much complete. I think it's time for some speaker upgrades though. But if you're chasing a screen like that, that is the Big Dog 9-inch, probably the biggest one you can fit in an 80 series from EC Off-Road. Check them out on Instagram. Yeah, it's made this thing a bit more modern, hasn't it? Well guys, now I was unfortunately able to get back down to Gold Coast in time for this episode to see the bonnet and guards, but Ross has sent me some footage and basically shown me that the bonnet was pulled out of a mould. Both the front guards have been pulled out as well, so they're basically full fiberglass pieces. Try to get there in the next couple of days, but take a look at this footage.
Hey guys, Ross from Custom Fibre Parts HQ, here with Sam's panels for his 80. As you can see, nearly done. Got mounts to do here for the actual bonnet hinges, and that one's actually done. Not going to show you that until we pull it out of the mould with Sam. But yeah, we got his guards here as well. Laid them up on Saturday. She's just hardening up now. Should be able to pull them out this afternoon, give them a trim. We'll have decent pictures probably this afternoon to see if they're in good condition or not. Other than that, we're nearly sorted, I suppose.
So yeah, very close now. The next time you see this thing in an episode, it will be the first time we see it as a complete car with the bonnet, guards, rear bar, everything. So you'd be super excited for that. We're gonna wrap it up and leave it in this episode for this week. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace. They say the definition of subscribe is to arrange to receive something, typically a publication, regularly by paying in advance. Please arrange to receive something, typically a publication, regularly by paying in advance by clicking the button below.